When the man woke up, he discovered that his first love from 13 years ago was lying on top of him, and they even had 2 children together. His mansion and Ferrari were nowhere to be found. Just as he was at a loss for what to do, he took a closer look and realized that this was indeed his Ferrari, and the person sitting inside was actually the black man from the night before. Jack couldn't wait to get into the car. He didn't know what kind of magical power the black man possessed to be able to swap their identities overnight. He kept begging the black man to let him go and allow him to return to his original life.
This is a glimpse, Jack.
A glimpse!
To be in his shoes. The black man said a bunch of nonsensical things to Jack and then slammed on the brakes, signaling for him to get out. Before leaving, he took out a red bag, which contained only a bicycle bell.
Will you come whenever I ring it?
Now you gotta get out of the car, Jack.
Get out of the car, Jack. Left with no choice, Jack had to accept reality. He drove back to the small town, but he couldn't find his way back. He planned to ask a stranger for directions, but to his surprise, the person actually knew him. It turned out that this man was Jack's friend. He thought Jack and his wife had gotten into a fight, and he advised Jack to make up with his wife as soon as possible. After all, Jack was the envy of all the men in town. He had a beautiful and virtuous wife, 2 well-behaved and adorable children, and he lived in a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom detached loft. He had practically reached the pinnacle of life. Afterward, Jack walked through the front door, and Amy eagerly stepped forward to give him a hug. She had been looking for him all day, and if she couldn't find him, she was about to call the police. Jack didn't know how to explain the situation to Amy. He told her that he wasn't married, had no children, and that this wasn't his home. He even took out the bell the black man had given him, hoping that the sound of the bell would wake him up from this dream. At that moment, his daughter rode up to him on her bicycle, thinking that this was her father's Christmas present.
I like it. Thanks, Dad.
Since there was no way to change any of this, Jack had no choice but to reluctantly accept reality. However, the drastic change in his life made him frown. The closet was filled with cheap clothes. His daughter walked in from the side and stared blankly at her father. But the unfamiliar look in Jack's eyes scared her, and she immediately ran away. The next morning, when he woke up, he found that there was no one beside him. He couldn't help but smile, thinking that everything had finally ended. However, the sound of his child crying brought him back to reality once again. He knocked on the bathroom door, intending to remind Amy that the child was crying incessantly. But Amy said it was his turn to take care of the children today and reminded him to take their daughter to school. He reluctantly walked over to the crib, but he didn't know where to start. Fortunately, his daughter was there to guide him. However, Jack's clumsiness made his daughter realize that something was amiss.
You're not really my dad, are you?
No, I'm not.
Where was my real dad? Promise you won't kidnap me and my brother?
Sure.
I'll come to Earth.